Hello and welcome to my channel. So this week's video is going to be slightly different. As you guys know, I do film vlogs the majority of the time, and I haven't been doing so just because school has been really kicking into high gear and everything has been so repetitive. I just can't do that every week or like show that every week just because it's literally the same thing and I'll be working on the same projects for like 2-3 weeks at a time. So for sure I might bounce back and do a vlog next week talking about my assignments and whatnot and just, you know, updating you guys on school and whatever. Aside from all the information that I just spewed out to you, today's video is going to be about my plants. As many of you guys who do follow me on social media, I'm pretty sure you know that I have a very high interest for plants. I didn't know there's a dude right down there talking to his girlfriend. Quick backstory, or why I just randomly got into plants. It's mainly because in high school I never really owned any plants, or I didn't know where to start with them because one, I lived in a city where like nurseries and like plant shops weren't readily available, as in Seattle. I had a succulent and I had a cactus. Both died. I've never owned a succulent or actual cactus ever since then. Currently in my room I have 23 plants, and at the end I'm going to basically talk about top 3 plants for indoor spaces and whatnot. So the first plant is the pothos. I have a very hard time saying the Latin names of these plants, mainly known as the money tree, marbled queen, or the devil's ivy or something like that. They have a very distinctive heart shape. They're really cute. Some of them come in a very rich green color and some come in a marbly pattern with white or like a yellow. These plants are very low maintenance. They need moderate to low lighting, so you can just set them on your desk in your office or room. So long it has some form of lighting, it should be okay. I do recommend kind of like putting it towards the window here and there, just so it can actually get the sunlight, and they just need moderate watering as well. They grow in a very distinctive length. It's my favorite plant is for that reason. I currently have 3. My first one was from IKEA. The second one I got is from the plant shop on Cap Hill. It's literally called the plant shop, by the way. So moving on, I have the Chalasia Plant. Ribbony look to them. The outer edges are usually a separate color from what's in the middle. I'm actually just looking at my plants right now. In terms of lighting, they kind of need medium lighting. I try to just keep them at my window so they can get light. Being that we're in Washington State, we don't really get a lot of the sunlight, so there can be brown spots and whatnot, so I'm just trying to avoid that. I have 2 of them. One is the lemon lime, and I believe the other one is dragon. I believe they're kind of more not difficult, but they're kind of like a scale up from pothos in my opinion. Very easy to care for and very easy to look after. So I have 2 palm plants. One is right behind me. This is a palm metallica plant. They also need medium to low light, so that's why I kind of placed this plant back there, just because I thought it would just liven up that little corner. Kind of moderate watering, they don't need too much. Just don't let the soil like completely dry out. The palm metallica was around $7, so that's pretty affordable. I got it on sale, so keep it. So the next palm I have is the Neanthobella palm. I got this last night. The body of the plant is really thin and it grows outward. Very beautiful plant. Medium to low lighting as well, I believe. Watering is kind of moderate as well, as long as the soil doesn't completely dry out. I know the palms, I believe they do like their soil to be more towards the moisturized end, so not completely wet, not completely dry. I have 3 air plants. I don't know the names off the top of my head. Air plants are really easy to care for because one, they don't really need that much watering. You can go like a week or 2 without watering, but misting them is important. For you to completely not neglect them is the most important part. So this kind of just looks like a wig. I don't know how to explain it. It's very unique. I keep it on my wall, and honestly it adds character to my wall. Me and air plants don't really get along. My last air plant literally rotted to death and I felt so bad. But these guys were on sale for $30 off their original price, so I got them because I was like, this is the perfect time for me to test my abilities and learn about these plants even more. So far they're kind of thriving pretty well, but I only had them for a week so far, so we'll see. Moving on, I'm actually going to move on to my smaller plants. I have these 2 sitting on my wall. This is the ribbon plant in the pepper face. Cute name. I don't know if this is in the same family as a Dracaena plant. They are really similar to each other, so you tell by the ribbon look. And then the pepper face pep, I don't really know too much about these guys. I just bought them, repotted them, and just kept them on my wall, watered them here and there, and they're doing pretty well. This guy has been having brown tips since I gotten him. I think maybe it's just a sunlight issue, but everything else is perfectly fine, so I'm not too worried. It's so viciously windy outside. Oh my god, it's super sunny outside, but it's just really windy. I bought this plant because I was just like, I want to hang this on my wall because it's so tiny, it's so cute. But I dropped a little tag about the name, the Latin name, and like what it's known for. I believe it's a Philodendron. I have one right there as well. These guys really tolerate low light pretty well. Medium light is pretty good. You know, if you are in an office space, desk space where it doesn't really get too much lighting, these are pretty great for those types of settings. They can tolerate minimal watering as well. I keep this one hanging just because I wanted to kind of make it a unique spot for the plant. And I think it's kind of unique. Definitely if you are in a very low light space, these plants can work for you. So I have the Polka Dot Plant and this little fern. I believe it's a Ceres fern is how you pronounce it. Polka Dot Plant, the look of it, why it has its name. One of my two ferns, very tiny, very cute. These are very great for livening up your desk or your room, or just if you want to start off with a plant. Even though they kind of are really small, they have some form of uniqueness to them. Don't really know off the top of my head what type of watering they need. I have actually been watering them the same way I've been watering my other plants, like once a week, and they do pretty well. The important thing about having plants and whatnot is like you kind of have to get to know them the same way you have to get to know a person. This little pot's from Anthropology if you're interested. And the next plant I can't really just physically show you, but I have the nerve plant. This is one of my first smaller plants. The pink look to them, it comes in a lighter pink as well, which is really interesting to see. Very cool to care for. This nerve plant has been the strongest plant ever because when I brought it home, my parents forgot about watering them just because it was in a terrarium and they didn't realize. I don't know. It was literally wilted. It felt like a piece of fabric. It was just so fragile. But once it has water, you'll know right away. The leaves are pretty hard compared to like a softer feeling petal flower or something. And beside my nerve plant, I have the Aloe Vera plant, which I kind of don't think they should be sitting together just because one kind of needs more watering than the other, of course. The Aloe Vera is great as a house plant. I do recommend keeping it at the window. Direct lighting is not really needed, but definitely give it light. So moving on to my larger plant, I do have a fern, Jester's Crow. I don't really know much else to say. Pretty low maintenance, to be honest. It kind of needs a little bit more watering. Moderate watering is great, but just kind of keep the soil moist, wet, just so it doesn't dry out, because it does take quite a bit of water. So that is the Jester's Crow. The next two plants, these are kind of my favorites and they're really interesting. One is the Sansevieria, or the mother-in-law's tongue, or the snake plant, whatever you want to call it. They have a very distinctive pattern to them, is what I like about them, and they grow more in height than in width, but it's a very low maintenance plant. It doesn't require that much water. During the winter season, it can go up to 6 weeks without watering. So far it hasn't been watered in 2 weeks and it's been doing very well. I haven't even noticed a difference in its leaves. So the last plant is what I got recently a few days ago, is a Chalasia plant. This one, I believe it's like more recognizable as a peacock plant just because leaves shape that look like peacock feathers, which I think is pretty cool. It has kind of a burgundy-ish reddish tone on the opposite side, so it adds color to your room if you're just wanting to switch it up from the basic green. I totally forgot about two of my plants. I'm actually just gonna show you guys. A coffee plant. It's in a literally the cutest planter that I will probably ever own. This is from Urban Outfitters and it was like 16 bucks, but I think I got it for like $9, and I think it's still available as well if you guys are interested in it. But the coffee plant is a very interesting plant. Just water it weekly and you'll be good. That in 4 to 6 years it will grow coffee beans. But yeah, this is my coffee plant. This was like $5. So the last plant I have is the Ficus microcarpa ginseng. I'm kind of moving it to a new pot just because it's been stuck in its like original pot for a little while. I feel like I kind of want to start giving it some room. Guy, it was from IKEA. I think it was around $10, which is a great steal. This was one of the smaller ones I got, I believe. So far, he's been doing very well. I've noticed that this plant hasn't been very difficult to care for. I have been watering weekly, moderate medium watering that it needs. So weekly is just perfectly good for me. And it's actually been growing in new leaves. As you can see, its little stems growing out. It's actually very cute. There's this little baby one growing in too, which I find pretty cool. And there's some on the top that's also like coming in as well. I don't know if you can see. It's one of my more unique plants just because of its little trunk, which I find so funny because it looks like it's turning your back against you, like I'm so done with you. I always laugh at it. But it's one of my favorite plants as well. It's one of my first plants. So quickly we're gonna go through my top 3 favorite indoor plants and 3 that I recommend to you guys. All right, so the first one is the first one that I actually mentioned. It's my most favorite plant. It's the pothos. Again, I have like 3 of them, and they're like, one's hanging on the shelf, one's sitting on the shelf, one's sitting on my lap. It adds so much volume to all the plants that I have so far. Same with my fern, just because it's just so big. So the next plant I definitely recommend is the Sansevieria, or the snake plant again. They are great for people who tend to neglect their plants in terms of watering, but you can't just completely forget, of course. I don't even know which plant I'm going to choose. I was thinking about the Palm Metallica just because they do enjoy the medium to low light setting and moderate watering. I would say the Palm Metallica or the Philodendron, just because the Philodendron has a very high tolerance for low light and even like minimal watering if you forget here and there. So I would say between the philodendrons and the Palm Metallica. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is very different from my other content, but I just thought it'd be very interesting to show you guys all my plants just because I have so many. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you have any recommendations for plants and whatnot, definitely let me know because I'm always interested in learning more about them. But yeah, rate, comment, subscribe. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll catch you guys later.